Hello, and welcome to this discussion of event scheduling at the Clark Honors College at the University of Oregon. My goal with this podcast is to give you some things to consider as you begin to work on scheduling your student events at the CHC. When we think about scheduling events, there's a lot to consider. Of course, we have to think about the basic elements of date and time, but we also have to think about scheduling support, scheduling resources, and scheduling around all the other elements that any given event might contain. Let's start with the basics of date and time. Some events are date specific. You wouldn't schedule the annual March 14th Pie Day Pie Potluck on March 15th if the 14th is available, for example. Other events are more general. You may know that you want to have a major mixer event during the second or third week of fall term, but the specific date could be flexible. Mid to late afternoon tends to have a higher turnout for staff, students, and faculty, and weekdays often have a better turnout for staff and faculty than weekends do. Date and time depend a lot on each specific event, so as you consider when to plan your event, be sure to consider your audience, your event goals, and how the timing fits in with other events on campus. A great resource for considering when to hold your event is the UO Events page. That will help you put your event in the context of other events happening on campus. Other CHC events will also appear on that page, so you can see how your event fits specifically with CHC events. Once you have your date and time established, you need to schedule your location. Alternatively, if you know exactly where you want your event to happen, at a particular meeting hall in the student union or at the campus theater, for example, you may have to schedule date and time based on venue availability. Choose the appropriate venue for your event type. CHC events are often most successful in CHC spaces, including Chapman Hall and the Global Scholars Hall. And, pro tip, you don't have any scheduling costs associated with having events at Chapman Hall or Global Scholars, so that could save you some money. Also, pick a room or location that will accommodate the amount of guests you expect to attend. Be sure you understand what your responsibilities include for the space you schedule as well. Are you responsible for cleanup, for locking up after the event, for checking in with a front desk or a service person? These are all really important things to know as you consider where your event should be held. Now that you have a time, a date, and a location, you can begin scheduling the other elements that your event may include. Do you need to order catering from the university? Do you need to schedule tech support? Do you need to schedule an equipment rental? If your event is off campus, do you need to make reservations at a local business or event venue? Another thing to consider when you think about when your event should happen and where is event fatigue, which is when there are so many events and so many opportunities that students couldn't possibly do it all. If you want high attendance at your event, be sure to be aware of how your event fits with all the other events going on in the college and at the university. If you have questions or doubts about when to schedule your event, ask for help. You can reach out to the Student Experience Coordinator for advice or check in with your fellow students to see if your colleagues have ideas about when to schedule the event you're thinking about. Just like events are part of a wider ecosystem on campus, you are part of a support system at the CHC, and we're happy to help however you need. I hope this podcast was beneficial. Good luck in scheduling your event process.